Today I want to talk about complex PTSD and explain what survival mode actually means, because I lived this way for decades without knowing that was what was happening to me. When I say I was living in survival mode, I don't mean that I was consciously afraid every minute of every day. That's what makes this so difficult to recognize. After living this way for long enough, it can simply feel normal. I didn't wake up thinking, I'm traumatized. I'm in survival mode. I thought this was just the way I was. Living in survival mode is like having an alarm inside your brain that doesn't completely shut off. Your brain has learned to constantly watch for possible danger, even when there is no immediate danger around you. Everyday tasks, getting out of bed, cooking a meal, cleaning your house, going to work, making a decision, being around other people, or even answering a phone call can start to feel overwhelming. Your mind is using so much energy watching, worrying, anticipating, and preparing that there isn't much energy left for everything else. And that makes something else very difficult, staying present. I didn't understand this for years. When so much of your attention is focused on protecting yourself, it can be very difficult to stay connected to what is happening right now. You can be physically present and still feel mentally somewhere else. Someone can be talking to you and you suddenly realize you haven't heard half of what they said. You can walk into a room and forget why you went there. You can lose track of what you're doing. You can be surrounded by people and still feel strangely disconnected from everyone around you. Sometimes it can even feel like you're watching your own life instead of actually living it. That was a huge part of survival mode for me. One of the most common parts of survival mode is hypervigilance. Hypervigilance basically means you're always watching. You're on edge. You're noticing sounds, people's expressions, changes in someone's voice, movements around you, or anything that might mean something is wrong. You may startle easily. You may constantly check your surroundings. Your brain is basically saying, pay attention, something could happen. Then there's dissociation. Dissociation can happen when everything becomes too overwhelming and your mind finds a way to disconnect. You might zone out during a conversation. You might feel foggy. You might feel emotionally numb. You might feel detached from yourself or from the people around you. You can be physically sitting in a room while mentally feeling very far away. For me, dissociation also affected my ability to remain present in my own life. Then there's something called the fawn response, which in everyday language can look a lot like people-pleasing. Instead of fighting or running away from something that feels threatening, you try to keep everybody happy. You avoid conflict. You say yes when you really want to say no. You worry about upsetting people. You may put everybody else's needs ahead of your own because somewhere inside you, keeping the peace feels safer than risking someone's anger or rejection. And alongside all of this can be constant anxiety. Simple decisions can become enormous. Should I go? Should I stay home? Should I call? What should I say? Did I say something wrong? Is this person upset with me? What if something happens? Your brain can turn an ordinary situation into something that feels much bigger because it has learned to prepare for problems before they happen. Imagine trying to live an ordinary life while all of this is happening at the same time. You're watching for danger. You're anxious. You're trying to keep everyone happy. You're sometimes mentally checking out because everything becomes too much. And you're struggling to stay present long enough to actually experience your own life. That's survival mode. It's exhausting. And this is something I want people to understand. Survival mode originally exists to protect us. If you are actually in danger, your brain and body need to react quickly. You don't want to sit there analyzing everything. You need to protect yourself. The problem comes when the danger is over, but that alarm inside you keeps going. Your brain has learned the world isn't safe. People aren't safe. Stay ready. Don't relax. Something could happen. So something that once helped protect you can eventually interfere with your ability to recognize when you actually are safe. You can miss moments of connection. You can pull away from people. You can avoid opportunities. You can become overwhelmed by ordinary responsibilities. You can struggle to concentrate. And you can have an incredibly difficult time simply being present in the life happening right in front of you. Over time, this can affect your confidence because you don't understand why ordinary life seems so much harder for you than it appears to be for everyone else. And if you don't know you have complex PTSD, you may blame yourself. That's what happened to me. I didn't understand that I was living in survival mode. I couldn't stand outside of myself and see what was happening. I was inside of it. It was my normal. That is why learning about complex PTSD later in my life was so important. I finally had words for things I had experienced for years: hypervigilance, dissociation, people-pleasing, constant anxiety, difficulty concentrating, difficulty staying present, and survival mode. Suddenly, I could begin to understand that these things weren't separate problems. They were connected. So when I talk about living in survival mode, I'm talking about living with your brain constantly trying to protect you, even when you don't consciously know that you are afraid. And when that goes on long enough, you can spend years surviving your life instead of actually being present enough to live it. That's the part I didn't understand for decades. Now I do, and understanding it is becoming part of my healing. If you've experienced any of these survival responses, tell me in the comments. Did you know you were living in survival mode? Or, like me, did you think this was simply who you were? If anything I said touched your heart, if you believe survivors deserve a voice, please stand with me. Subscribe, leave a comment. Help support this channel so I can keep healing and keep writing. Thank you for being here. I'm healing. And if you're here with me, so are you.